Now, if I may, just in the last few minutes here, I'll mention just some deliberative proposals. I'll let you look at the details of the slides, but I'll just say a few words. I like the idea of a policy jury that would be kind of like a jury handling very specific narrow questions, handling extra legal disputes and sort of problematic cases, but actually having the power to resolve those cases, almost like arbitration in some other contexts. Now you notice the right-hand column of this table has cross-cultural aspirations. One of the other things I work with is called the Cultural Cognition Project, headed up by Dan Kahan at Yale University. And we're always thinking about, can these deliberative processes manage cultural conflict? So I won't say anything about that column, but you might find it interesting. Happy to talk with you if you want to ask more about that another time, or later today. The second one, participatory technology campaign. You could potentially think about agenda setting for future deliberation. Here the idea would be just to see what needs to be on the agenda. Should we be talking about nanotechnology? What should we be doing? And that could be fully empowered, that the citizens would have the chance to really decide what will be put to a deliberative process. The next one, the framing panel, is the idea of framing the question, again, highlighting both key points of agreement and disagreement. In a sense, this body would sort of flesh out what we really need to be talking about. What are the key points of contention? The fourth is a special advisory parliament. This is like sort of a deliberative poll or a citizens' assembly in that you're trying to get a sense for the balance of deliberative judgment. And then finally, a referendum assembly would be the most powerful of all. It would actually draft the policy question itself, as we saw in British Columbia, and prepare a voter's guide for the upcoming election, as will be done in Oregon later this year. So those are just some ideas for how we could potentially have very powerful deliberative processes. We would hope that they would be of the highest quality, and on balance, the presentations we saw today showed that you can get to a pretty decent level of quality in a relatively short period of time. But the last point I would end with is, again, different deliberative processes for different purposes. And always think about ways they connect kind of to the end of our process, that is, whether it's policy making or a larger electoral process or just the entire public making its own decisions about its own life. In all of those ways, we can think about the quality of the deliberation being integral to ultimately the quality of the impact that any deliberative process has. So I'll wrap it up there. Thank you so much for this invitation. I'm sorry I wasn't able to fly out to Luxembourg. I'd love to be there, but it's been a pleasure to be with you here today via video.